How's everybody doing? Welcome back. I know it's been a little minute. I'm trying to keep you up, but just been getting set up. Things been crazy. The weather's still pretty hit or miss, and we're missing. No, we're not that we're missing, but we're getting quite a bit of thunderstorms, and there's a bunch of severe weather around. So hope everybody's okay. But that's yeah, can't make hay unless the sun's out, and only the sun's out. So we've been lucky. We've been squeezing in between some soaring. We got quite the bit actually in the shed already. I think we've made about, I don't know, maybe 3,000 bales so far. But yeah, we've been it's been going. We finally got this baler accumulator, or the accumulator was working. It just needed to be worked in a little bit, get the dust off. It's kind of makes it a little better. But the baler we got all fixed up with the sizing. Now we can buzz along pretty fast. And it's been working nicely. We got a bunch of really nice first cut in. It's not even June, kind of June. Right now it's kind of, the grass is maturing out, so it's like almost the perfect time. Just because it's not matured out, it hasn't dropped its seed. It's released its pollen and stuff and getting into that. But we're actually starting to have a problem with the hay. We fertilized thinking we'd be able, because it was looking dry, and then it started getting wet. So we fertilized pretty good, and now hay's too heavy. It's all laying. Don't know how well you can see it, but that field was one of the heavy fertilized fields, and it's like all laying down. This field right here is our, I call it the old dry cow patch, because we had cows. That was where they come across and saw the dry cows. But this is laying flat for the most part. I'm gonna try to mow this down today. We have a chance of showers tomorrow, so today's Tuesday, Wednesday night. So then I'm gonna mow. This is a couple acres here, nothing crazy, but it's pretty heavy. Gonna mow this little spot, see how that goes. Keep looking at the weather, because hay or grass, if you can mow it and it dries, it wilts, dries, then gets rained on, that is when it will bleach out and not be so nice. If you mow grass within 12 hours of a rain, when it's still young, it's still photosynthesizing, it's still doing that. It's like, oh, I just have lost my legs, but the plant is still respirating and all that. It won't be as affected by the rain then. So I'm thinking I'm gonna mow this, take a little risk on this, because this will be a day out. Today's supposed to be nice and sunny. It should dry, and then tomorrow morning I'm gonna mow pretty big, because after tomorrow night it's pretty clear for at least a couple days. And then we'll kind of mow. Now I'll mow for I'll mow enough to bale for a day, which is actually gonna be quite a bit. I want to say 30-ish acres, which we probably only have 3 chunks left. We have this hill and these meadows here, which that would probably be a day and a half. We have our pond field and our old cow pasture. That's probably another day. And then we have down lower road, you can kind of see one of the fields right through the trees there. That's probably another 30-acre chunk. So we probably have 3.5 days left, now that everything's kind of set in and working nice. So hopefully we'll get that all done. Coming up, we are now in some of the later days. Obviously we can only be so sure a week out, but it's looking like this time of the year we need that 3-day. Sorry about the wind. It was nice and not breezy, but not so breezy. But yeah, so we need a 3-day window to mow in the morning, ted, and I kind of like to ted it out 3 times, just to make sure we're getting that nice consistent hay. We're not getting those clumps that are moist or anything. So that's where I like to mow, either the night. I honestly like to mow the night before, and then the morning of, ted it out, but it's looking like we're gonna mow this morning, ted it out, get it outspread, and then tomorrow morning I'll mow more, and then we'll ted that all out. And then Thursday, which should be the third day, we'll ted the first stuff out here. We'll start baling, but I'll also mow, you know, the next day's stuff. You know, I might, depending on the weather and what everything's looking like, I might, you know, even go ahead and mow more, because you know, it's better we have more down that's ready to go dry, or it's better that we get stuff drier before we get to baling it. So can never complain about too dry hay. The only thing is, if it lays out there too long and you're not moving it, you lose a lot of the color. So instead of being this nice vibrant green hay, you get some more, you know, brownish, not as that premium quality horse hay that people like to see. So that's what we're aiming for. So that's kind of why we try not to get too ahead of ourselves, but we also try to stay ahead of ourselves in that regard. So that's what's going on. I'll try to keep you more up to date. You know, things have been a little fun with the new baler and getting everything going, as the beginning of any season is. You know, we got the Silo King, that applicator, we finally got that, you know, figured out. We got to redo our numbers because now we're baling faster. And then our stroke counter, that the sensor was actually not reading when it was up to speed, so we got one of those coming. And yeah, no, it's definitely been a lot going on. And then we actually had moved. We weren't on the home farm here. We moved up one of the farms that we mow for. They were just having a wedding there, so we wanted to get that cleaned off for them so they can get a nice little regrowth and, you know, bailed that up. And so you got that cleaned up. And yeah, so we're moving. We're lucky, you know, we got all over back done. That's a pretty big chunk. You know, now that we got the beans a little less, but it's been nice, been good. And you know, the piles are still standing up pretty straight, so that's good. That, you know, usually means it's pretty good, pretty low moisture. So if they start to get soft, like if you guys see round bales and they're too high moisture in the morning, they'll be on their side because it's just kind of mushy and then it lays over. So fun fact. But yeah, no, it's all been pretty good. I think I've been stacking all right, but it's yeah, it's filling up fast. I'm not sure, you know, now that we got that corner, exactly how many bales we can fit in here, but I am getting a little nervous. We aren't having the customer calls I feel like we normally have, and you know, we are focused right now on making the hay. So whoa, you're way up there. I'm making the hay, so right now, you know, I'm not doing as many deliveries, just kind of the regulars, but I have reached out to a couple people. But we did just such a good job of filling them up over the winter and spring here, because we did have that little bit of second left, that a lot of people are still full, a lot of our regular customers. So we are wholesaling. I think I did 1 truckload already. Might do a little more, you know, a little less per bale, but it's definitely better than it being outside getting rained on and everything. So we'll see what we do. You know, the fun of farming. It's always a risk. I think the biggest risk takers are farmers, because like you get 1 crop a year and you kind of, well, you know, row croppers, and if a, you know, nice strong storm comes through and like this one, but later in the season when, you know, everything's kind of mature and just lays it right down. And yeah, luckily in the Northeast here we don't, you know, we get storms, but not the big tornado alley storms. So those guys out in, you know, Illinois, you know, some of those more tornado alley states are a little more tornado prone and hail and those more damaging systems. So give a shout out to your farmer. They're biggest gamblers. I don't know how well they are at cards and stuff, but that could vary a little more, but definitely biggest risk takers I know. So yeah, I'm gonna get to mowing, and we're gonna go from there, and hopefully it doesn't rain, but like hopefully it does, because then I'll be like a little mad that I didn't mow more. But also, like, I don't know, I'm gonna keep checking the weather. It's also like, so tomorrow afternoon's like 40%, and then it keeps dropping to like 20%, and then it goes back up to 40%. So it's like I don't know. In the valley here, we do miss quite a bit of storms. They seem to kind of go north of us or south of us. I don't know if that's, you know, with the mountains that kind of, you know, surround us, if that kind of splits storms, but it does seem to pass us when it's that low percentage. So I might go more. I don't know my risk factor, my risk. Yeah, risk mitigate. Nah, you know. So I'm gonna go mow that little section and look at the weather again. If y'all know any good weather sources, you know, I usually use the Weather Channel, our local like News 12 AccuWeather, and then Weather Underground. And if there's any other good, you know, weather services that have a pretty good, but I feel like this weather is just getting more predictable, and you know, y'all can talk about global warming and everything, and you know, that's a whole other story. But yeah, so let me know if you guys have any good weather sources, because you know, we're kind of more in the, I don't even know, 7 days out. That's really all. 10 days. You know, now that we got the beans, you know, a little more long range forecast, but you know, for hay, I need at least 3 days, 4 days to get it dried this time of the year. Later, you know, third, fourth cuttings were more, you know, 7 days and stuff. But yeah, so let me know if you know any good weather services. I've been debating on paying for that Weather Channel premium, but I don't really need that full extended forecast. I mean, it's nice, but don't need it. So why pay for something you don't need? I gotta pay other things. So anyways, we're gonna get back to it. Gonna mow this, see how it goes. Yeah, like I said, it was a lot laying over, so hopefully we can get that pretty good. And also, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the weeds kind of seem to be coming out early this year. You know, I've seen like a lot of thistles, like some of the patches we have that I gotta knock out. They just have seemed to come in a little earlier than usually. I feel like I get first cut pretty much summed up, you know, beginning of June. You know, I don't really see until then, but I'm seeing quite a bit of them. So anyways, got new knives on the mower. We're gonna go give it a shot, and we'll go from there.